My name's David Prest. I'm delighted to say I'm a very good friend of Harry Bucknall, and I'm incredibly excited about the fact that this is now in print.
Okay. You told me you have already read the book.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of people here that has this honor. How is that?
I think the thing about it is, you know, when I read it first, I thought this is so much about Harry the author and about his reaction to places, and for me the best travel writing is about someone who can really react to a place with their own spirit and their own identity and their own passion, and that comes over incredibly in the book. And also, you know, his interest and fervour for ancient history, putting it over in a way which is not dry and dusty. It's a real contemporary feel for how Greek culture is and is for the islanders today. I think that's the really great thing that so many authors have struggled with when it comes to the Greek islands. The cliches are too often trotted out, but what I think we've got in the book is something very special. He's captured a side to the islands and their understanding of history and their understanding of their sense of identity and place, which is very rare. And that, I think, should be applauded in huge quantities for this book.
So, can we find as well emotions in front of a new situation or thinkings? I don't know. Is that in the book?
I think he does. The other thing that's great is that he also captures what it is to be on a Greek island now. It is not this wonderful, sparkling blue, white, painted buildings image that we have necessarily. It's sometimes hard, economically challenging areas. There are places where the tourism is absolutely the lifeline, and it is incredibly important. And you know, you get a real sense of the modern Greek island as well. You know, it is, yes, there are the tourist areas, but Harry does go absolutely parodies the tourist areas brilliantly and very funnily, and you know, his adventures, as it were, are taking us way beyond that. You know, I mean, the start when he sort of falls off a cliff into the ancient rocks and realises this is a link back to prehistory is just a very brave thing to do. And then, you know, the adventures, the hilarious adventures when he gets sort of washed out to sea, finds himself lost on down sort of minor roads off where the road just disappears from within him, and then the characters he meets along the way. He's a great observer of character as well.
Okay, nice. And what about the style? Is deep in descriptions, or is easy, like easy going reading and reading easy going? I don't know. How is it? The style?
He's very colourful, and the great thing about him is that, you know, as a writer, he's a very funny person. And it's very difficult sometimes to get that on paper, but he has managed to do it. And also he brings in a lot of himself and his own background. There's an incredibly moving chapter where he talks about an atrocity which happened during the Second World War, when the German occupying forces rounded up local villagers and an atrocity took place. And he talks about it very movingly, and he suddenly brings in some of his own background as an army officer serving in Bosnia. And, you know, he harks back, he flashes back, if you like, to some of his own experiences of witnessing some pretty horrible things in Bosnia. And you suddenly get a real link with it. It's very, very moving. And, as I say, you know, all these different aspects to the Greek islands come together for me, and this really is genuinely, I think, you know, quite a very powerful book, and one which hopefully will show a side to the islands that we just haven't seen before, and that we just haven't got a real grasp of. And Harry Bucknall, for me, has done that.
Have you been in the Greek islands? Have you ever been?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've done what lots of people have done. Lots of British people have done. They've visited islands, probably, you know, their first cheap holiday away, and I've gone back a few times since.
Yeah.
And you know, but there's always something there to discover. I mean, you know, as Harry touches on, most Greek nationals don't even know how many islands there are and how you define what an island is. And you know, Harry's made a pretty good stab at getting to the big ones, the small ones, the ones which have got the fascinating stories. And you know, it's difficult. You know, when you're an author, if you're taking on a very big challenge like that, and you're saying, I'm going to travel to as many islands as I possibly can, you've got to find the contrasts and the differences between them, and almost that beautiful pen portraits of each island in a sense. You know, he's got to the nub of it in that perfect way, which only the best travel writers do.
Okay, so just to finish, message for Harry.
Message for Harry.
Yes.
I just think, Harry, that this is the beginning of a great journey, in a sense. You know, all the best travel writers, the journey is a continuous thing. It doesn't end with one book, it carries on and it carries on. And, you know, the way in which you've tackled this particular project and the way in which, you know, you've captured so much about the Greek islands here tells me that, you know, there's a very long journey ahead, and for your readers who hopefully are going to buy this book in droves and are hopefully going to follow your own journeys and your own travels, there's an awful lot to come, and that's very exciting. We're at the beginning of a journey, and hopefully it's going to be a great one that we can all go with.
And you're going to be next to him then?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I'm going to follow it.
Okay.